We are live, it says.
We're live, but I gotta do my countdown.
Okay.
I like and we are live. We have the man that only needs one name, Victor. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you, man?
All right, the only man in the hobby that can pull it off like Madonna.
I love I love that intro, man. That intro is smooth.
Yeah, I like that. I finally gave away what it was, why I had those players lined up in a certain way. I think Three River there figured it out, but it's uniform numbers 10-1 in descending order.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's my unique countdown. Had to put my hat on just in case MFB shows up. He always gets mad if I don't have my hat on. So
Why does he get mad?
I think the glare. I need to. I have. I have the lights like you have set up. I have the ring light and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just have yet to set it up because I don't know if you saw my car apartment video, but
I did. Amazing.
I'm in a dining room of an apartment. So I don't have a lot of area, and trying to get it right still. And I've almost been here 8 months, I guess.
I think you got it, brother. You don't have a card room. You got like a card house, right?
I do. When I moved here, it was just something missing, and it was my basement from where I lived at. So you know what? I just made my whole apartment my basement.
And you had a lot of square footage in that basement too.
Yeah. I still had to get rid of 3 totes of stuff and a box of cars that I didn't have out in my other place, but I had to downsize. Things happen. I hate putting stuff in storage. I don't like having it if I can't put it. If I'm buying it for display purposes, I'm not going to put it in storage. It's just I grew up in houses like that. Parents and grandmother that just kept everything. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Everything has its place. So,
right.
Hey Gary, what's up? We're gonna talk about that. The man that can rub shoulders with the famous Dr. Beckett is on my channel. So now I'm best friends with him because I'm good friends with Victor.
There you go.
He's got him on speed dial, and he was on the stage at the National. For a hobby, that's the mecca for all of us.
Yeah, no, it's really the hobby hotline crew. They invited me to be a part of that, and of course, Dr. Beckett's a big part of that. He really has a heart for that hobby hotline, and just getting to know him through there. Really,
he just likes being around it. You could tell last year at the National. I didn't get to see him on the floor, but the night of the get together, he just stood there with a smile. Didn't matter if he was talking with anybody or not. He enjoyed the camaraderie and the electricity that was going on in that room.
It was really cool having him there, and he really was like one of the guys. Really,
yes.
And
very, very approachable. Signed cards, signed things, took pictures. Great man.
Who would have thunk, right? Growing up.
And I didn't know it was a real Dr. Beckett, I just thought it was somebody's name.
Just a brand, right? Yeah.
It's like, I think there's a real Nike walking around. Is there a Dr. Nike? I don't know.
If there isn't, there should be.
That's right. Yeah, because that was great. And you got to sit down and talk to him about, true collectors. But before we get too far in it, this is something I've been doing with people, my repeat customers on here.
All right.
What else are you into collecting, if anything else, other than sports cards?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really, and I've never even talked about this in any videos yet, but I plan to. Hold on one second.
Okay. You're the second person I've caught off guard. Yes.
Caught me off guard. I have been getting into, for like the past 6 months, Sports Illustrated.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I can't take them out of the plastic, but
that is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. They're typically graded by CGS.
Yep. Well, that's their
CGC. And I got that one. These are the only two that I have near.
CGC and what CGS are owned by the same
company, anyways.
CGC or something.
But I really fell in love with these because, to me, Sports Illustrated goes all the way back to 1954, and it's got, they created magazines every single week up until like the year 2000, I think it was. And there's so much history there. And I take like this one here that I showed you with Muhammad Ali. It's not one of the most prettiest ones.
Right.
And people ask me, or, the groups that I'm involved in, they're like, why do you want to buy that one? Why do you want the Muhammad Ali and the Leon Spinks? Well, and it's because there's nostalgia there for me. There's a history. There's a story there.
Yep.
And I remember 1977, I was 7 years old. Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks, and it was a big fight. My dad watched it, and we watched it as a family. And Muhammad Ali lost that night. Now, I was 7 years old, and I saw how excited my dad was because he was a big Ali fan. And then I saw my dad, how upset he was when Ali lost.
Right.
And as a 7-year-old, that broke my heart.
Right.
And I bawled that night. I went to bed crying because Muhammad Ali lost.
Right.
Okay. And so now fast forward, I think it was like 6 or 7 months later, there's a rematch between Ali and Spinks. And Ali mopped the floor with this guy.
Right.
And that is this cover when he put the beat down on Spinks that same year. And now the excitement and the joy that Dad and I have again, because Ali won. And so something like that, this cover just captures that. And then you talk about my fandom with the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Right. There's a litany of Sports Illustrated covers with that era.
Yeah, when you say Chicago Bulls and Sports Illustrated, what comes to mind is was it the cover where Jordan, I said he because Jordan's just jumping in the middle of the air, right? Where he won the championship, the first one.
Yeah, he's got like 50 covers.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's I have a Gary Carter cover. My shop in Iowa, he had a bunch of them, and I always went through them. And it was like a time capsule going through the history of sports. And I mean, it's the first thing that I look for when like my Capitals won. I have it up. Yeah. I have it framed.
Right.
When UVA won a national championship, I have it framed.
Yeah.
It's just a great way. And I had Sports Illustrated my whole life, and I stopped around that time when they started going to more of a 6-week or 7-week or something like that. It was it wasn't every other month or something. It was just a weird thing that they did. And not because they were coming out every week, and then they kind of stopped that. And then I didn't like everything that they were publishing. Like we're all supposed to agree on.
And just like
sports, not the politics.
And just like sports cards, there's a lot of nuances with them. This
is a great one.
When
my favorite is the hockey team. Yeah,
the Olympic hockey team. Yes, legendary cover.
Yes.
But when the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, how special is that to me as a Cubs fan?
Right.
And then they released like 4 variant covers that week.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
They were, to me, one of the first ones that did variants because every baseball, football, college football preview they had variants for what part of the country you were in. So for me, I would get mine in the mail, and I only got the issues to get the swimsuit issue there, Pafalzi. But yeah, I would get the one in my area for football, and then I had to go, and it was the Redskins, and I'd have to go to get the Cowboys one if they were the one in the Midwest. A lot of times it was either them or Green Bay.
Yeah.
So it was kind of it was great. You caught me on that one. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, and no, there's so many. I'm having such a blast with it because there's so much to learn.
Today I was rattling my mind and even going through some of your older videos, because I asked old BBC, how he was doing on his amazing Spider-Man collection before we got it, and that caught him totally off guard. But with you, I've never, I didn't know, because you work on a railroad, right?
Yeah,
work for a railroad company. So I kind of was like, maybe he collects railroad stuff. I didn't know
too expensive.
I didn't know what I was going to see.
Right. Yeah.
Because us collectors, I guarantee you, as collectors, almost every one of us collects something else. If it's shot glasses, you might not even realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just.
I have a stack of SI covers that I need to get graded, but it's one of them things too where there's a big difference between subscription issue and newsstand issue.
Yes.
The newsstand issue are the ones that carry weight within the hobby. The subscription issues are like printed galore, so it's hunting for those. And man, it's a lot of fun hunting for those magazines. Right.
And I have to admit, though, my two that I have, the recent championships, they're newsstand, but my baseball, my Gary Carter is not. It's actually
I seen that one. It's autographed too, isn't it?
My Gary Carter one?
Yeah.
No, I have one. I have an 8x10 right beside it. That's autographed.
That's autographed. Okay.
On my wall. What's going on, John?
And I mean, how do you not look at? I mean, how do you not?
Yeah,
appreciate the artwork in this.
Well, they have some of the best photographers out there.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I mean, not only the best writers. I haven't been into Sports Illustrated for a long time, and I'm not going to get into it in here because it's not the place. But it was just amazing, the pictures and when they wrote about something meaningful at the end that I had it was great. Model train's amazing. Yeah, Mike. Michael, I know y'all spend a lot of time together. I'm sure all fair.
I got a lot of friends that get into the model train stuff, but it never really interested me. And I'm really, it's expensive. That hobby is expensive, and I just can't do it.
And there's different sizes, and it's just crazy. And then not only that, the guys. So my college I went to was near a big train switching station, right? Okay. I think I'm saying that right.
Yep.
Where they not necessarily stop to offload or anything, but they might pick up or extra cars or drop off cars or whatever.
It's a yard.
And what's that?
It's a yard.
Oh, it's a yard. Okay. Yeah. So you would have at both sides where they come in and out, there would just be cars lined up with now this is telling my age, with video cameras, the whole VHS ones, and just waiting for them to come by. And it was like,
we call those foamers in the railroad industry.
Oh, really? Foamers?
Yeah. Foamers, yeah. They train goes by and they foam at the mouth, type of thing.
Oh, okay.
They're taking pictures and videos.
I cuss because I'm blocked. I can't go nowhere.
Right.
It was supposed to be my back way home from school, and I just wanted to get out of there, and it's supposed to be quicker, but when you got caught by the train, it stunk. So we have I want to get back to Gary had a great question for you.
I struggle because I have bifocals in the comment section.
Yeah, that's fine.
I struggle. So
so Bink Scott, Gary, always me and Gary like to call each other by our regular names because people I swear I wanted to get shirts. If he goes to a national, I'm going to say he's Bink and I'm Big and get shirts where we're pointed at each other.
Yeah, there you go.
Victor, have you ever asked Dr. JB why Beckett started calling traded set card rookies rather than XRC designation?
Started calling traded set cards rookies rather than XRC rookies.
I guess because back in the 70s, right? Like Strawberry, for instance, 83s is traded, but 84 is rookie card, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that, right? Or would you not say that?
83, I call it a pre-rookie card.
Right, that's an XRC. Same way with Doc Gooden 84. Believe me, I'm trying to complete the set, and I got 84 graded. I just need a raw one that I'm not going to pay a lot for.
Yeah, he touched a little bit on that during our interview, but I know it was more of the I guess the debate that was going on at the time, and he felt that it was a decision that he had to make because he was getting pressured.
Right.
And he ended up going with the XRC designation because it didn't, I forget the verbiage that he used, that it did not fit in the distribution flow of how cards were distributed.
Okay. So Gary says 89 Topps traded was the first Griffey Jr. I'm hoping he's meaning Griffey Jr. Had an XRC, then it was changed to RC. I guess that was the 89 Topps traded set that was in that year.
Yeah. Well, and he wasn't included. See, the XRCs were really an extension of the regular set, right?
Right.
And he wasn't included in the regular set. He was included in the traded set.
I would see where King Griffey might be a rookie that year in the 89 traded because first off, he played the whole season and he was in the upper deck and Don Ross. So we're already in a rookie card discussion. We've already steered that way because we got Victor. That I knew it was going to go that way. And not that I do have other questions for you, Victor.
It's not that I'm the know-all be-all.
But you love to investigate those.
Yes,
things. That's. I think people lose that you're not the even when you talk to a doctor in their specific field. They're not going to have all the answers in that specific field.
Right.
They know where to find the answers.
Right. At least not at the moment. Right.
Right. Yeah. And that's the intelligence part is not necessarily being able to answer it, but to find the answer and get back to you on it.
Yeah.
But here's my question for everybody in the chat and the future chat and my future down below. Okay, we've had some crazy lotteries here in the last 6-7 months. So we had the Mega Millions at 1.35 billion or whatever. Somebody won up in Maine. Congratulations. If you're watching this, I think I'm your long lost nephew. But anyway, my question is to you, Victor. Swan forever. He's been pushing some Lynn Swan here. My question to you, Victor. If you won that money, got a check for 700 million or whatever it was, how would your collecting habits change?
It would definitely change. That's for sure. Yeah.
So would you, like right now, your PC is you love the rookies, you love Chicago, you love Jordan. So would your PC change to cards that because are they your PC because you can't afford them? Or is that your PC? Would your PC change because you can afford them? That's the first thing because I have an answer that I'm going to come back with here in a minute.
Just the way I like to collect is through the PSA set registries, obviously, but I would probably, trade my Roberto Clemente 55 Topps for in a PSA 4. I might go ahead and trade it in for a PSA 8 or a PSA 9. Definitely upgrade would be my, forte. Raymond.
Yeah. So for me, I've been asked this before. If you won the lottery, you would probably spend it all on cards. And I'm like, nope. I'd probably start some type of business in cards because I would have to have something going on in my life,
right,
other than just waking up and living.
Right.
That would be a fear of mine. But first off, I would probably get a nice camper with 5 pullouts on it or whatever, and travel the country to different ball fields.
Nice.
But I don't know if mine would change, because the reason I collect the way I collect is because I like the players that I watch, that I have a personal connection to. Now, I do have some guys like Roberto Clemente, Sandy Koufax, Duke Snider, of course, Willie Mays, Jackie Robinson. But they have stories that touch me or was big to my dad or my grandparents or whatever. My granddad was a Yankee fan. I just stay away from them. But anyway, my dad grew up being a Brooklyn fan, so I heard a lot about Brooklyn in my household. Duke Snider's his favorite. Roberto Clemente's his second favorite player he's ever seen. So I heard a lot about those.
Mm-hmm.
But, I know one thing. I would have a building behind my house that was like temperature controlled, where I can store my collection and enjoy it. That would be one thing. And I would probably build my own little studio out there to do YouTubing. But I got asked that a while back, a few years ago, and I really, like a lot of places, everybody at my work pitched in to get tickets this week.
Did anybody win it?
Somebody in Maine won.
Maine, wow. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I saw today. Anyway, so I was sitting there thinking, you'll catch yourself daydreaming off. I won the lottery. And I keep thinking to myself, I would probably open up a shop in my hometown that would be very collector friendly, I would hope. And because we never really, we had a card shop when I grew up, but it was lacking, say the least. I thought it was good, but when I started hearing everybody else's stories, I guess we just didn't have a very good one. See, Mike, this is, and I would believe this with Mike. I'll pull it up here for us. I'd buy a big warehouse and create a sports card museum, buy all the vintage sets and display them for the public to see. And I could believe, and this dude would have a story, unlimited videos, because he would have a story on every one of those cards.
Yeah.
And it'd be awesome stories, Mike. That I can see that very, very easily with you. And I just wanted to share that, and probably a question, 2 questions in my future.
I've never really given it a lot of thought, to be honest with you. But
I sorry I caught you off guard twice.
That's all right.
But this is my channel. I like to bring up stuff like this, and especially, what is this, Victor? 3-4 times you've been on here?
Something like that. Yeah.
I got to come up with some new stuff, right?
Yeah.
I do have one question and a serious note about rookies, and this is going to be a headache too, because this was another one caught me thinking, because I'm sitting there watching a video. I believe Bob was showing SGC cards for his group.
Yeah.
And kept showing soccer cards and calling them rookies. And it might be a rookie. And but I started thinking, well, a lot of these soccer guys, especially in the MLS, played overseas first. So they got cards wherever they played at. Now they come here and are called rookies. I started thinking, like, Ohtani started in Japan. He's got cards over there, but he came here. He's got rookie cards here. But I bet you the people in Japan probably said, no, he started over here. We got his rookie cards. So is there a way in your mind, are we just American snobs that say we got the rookie card and yours doesn't mean anything? Or how do you kind of explain that? Because I got one more example too.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it's one where, what do you define as like anytime I have questions like this that are complex, I filter them through what I've called the guidelines, right?
Right, your commandments.
So the guidelines say that a rookie card has to be licensed by both the league and the Players Association, and it also has to be when he reaches a pro level roster, right? And that's the standard that was set in 2005 by the PA. So that part where it says a pro level roster, what exactly does that mean? Especially when it's, I would say that Shohei then would have 2 rookie cards. He would have the ones that when he was in Japan, because that's a pro level in Japan, but that's not a pro level here in the US. The rookie cards and the cards that are printed for us here are for North America, which is Canada and the US, right? And so to me, it's 2 completely different entities. And it's the 2013 are Shohei's rookie cards for that market. And that's how I kind of look at it.
Okay, for that. Okay, because I was going to bring up, like, now Topps is making cards in, for the Korean League, for them over there. I haven't seen any over here, or what, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but they did announce it. So like somebody like Eric Thames that played for the Brewers, he was a monster in Asia and Korea. He was carried on shoulders, didn't pay for dinner. He was just the man over there. So that's why I was kind of wondering if he went over there. He played here, he had a rookie card. He went back, he goes over there, he has another rookie card. And then that's kind of like, that was it. Just food for thought. Wasn't trying to cause no controversy.
Yeah, I just, the hobby has never really intermingled with different parts of the world like that. Right. Japan has their own card market, and the US has their own.
And I brought it up because I think there in the future might be more discussion on this, and I'll tell you because A, soccer, and B, you have hockey, which has always been kind of an issue. I have, like Ovechkin Russian cards when he played in their Pro League and stuff like that. And they're not considered, they're XRCs for our consideration because it was before played in the National Hockey League. But I'm just wondering if some of those bigger players, one day that might be something. And I don't even get in NIL, which I think is going to open up a whole other, which I think is for me, it's an easy level to figure out. It is no different than any other card before they're a professional. It's just before they're professional cards. They're going to be prospect cards or whatever you want to call them. Because definitely, I mean, I've heard, there might be sets coming out with all the different sports and might be, one sport. But how many of those athletes are going to, very small percentage will probably be professional athletes,
right?
Household names. So that, and I'm kind of interested to see where that goes.
I think they'll end up creating their own little moniker, like, first ever or first something, they'll create, I think, a different identifier for those types of cards. I think they should anyways.
Right. I'm with you on that.
Because, according to the PA, who is the legal authority, they're saying that rookie cards it's the pro level roster. A pro level is the MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, right? And that's the highest level of sport that we're in here in the US. Now, to say that the NIL cards, I think they'll make something up, some kind of marketing little thing to separate them. And I think we should separate them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it'll be, because they already got the U and all that stuff for Topps and stuff. The Elite, which are some high school kids. Carlisle Battery has a great question, and he's not making a joke. Why doesn't the 22 National League Rookie of the Year have a rookie card yet? I can answer that for you. Michael Harris II will have a rookie card in 23 when he's no longer eligible to win the Rookie of the Year. Battery's a huge Braves fan, so that's where you'll see that at. Also, it's happened before with. Well, it happened the opposite way when they gave Rosarina the rookie card a year before he won the Rookie of the Year. Yeah. So it happens both ways. I've seen it several times.
Michael Harris. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so you'll see like next year. So Michael Harris will get the rookie RC and he'll have the trophy on there.
Yeah. Michael Harris.
It's going to be like a NASCAR car with all the different labels on it.
Michael Harris doesn't have a rookie card, in my opinion, because of money. There's no reason why, when they saw that kid having a great season, there's no reason why they could have included him into the set starting midsummer, especially with all the late sets that came out. There's no reason why he should. The only reason is because they can capitalize with the RC logo in 2023, which is unfortunate, and there's no accountability to the card manufacturers. They pretty much have open wide table to do those kind of shenanigans.
Right. And I mean, you got it ain't him. He's not the only one. You got Adley Rutschman. There's going to be
it's a disaster what they did this year. It's disgraceful.
Yeah. And you could see it coming. You knew when you started seeing because everybody figured it out when they did the call-up label on the Topps Now, you knew they weren't going to be in any product for this year, regular product.
Right.
And
that was the cue, right?
Right. Everybody, we figured that out last year.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be, and now I'm wondering, do you put all those rookies in the first box or do you put them in the second series? Because it's no longer update. It's an extended series now. 2021 Bowman. Gary's trying to start trouble.
I don't know. Is he? I don't know.
Michael Harris is the 2021 Bowman's best. I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Because Michael Harris, as great as a player he is now, and he did have high hopes before he came up, he didn't have the name of Spencer Torkelson, Bobby Witt, or those guys. Even Adley Rutschman. He didn't have that name. I think he was a cover boy either on a Bowman's Draft or Bowman's Chrome, but I can't remember. But I just don't think he was on that level to be in the best. I could be proven very wrong, but I don't think he was in that one. And to me, it's I'm on the side that they made enough changes on that card to show it's not a rookie card, even if it's in the set. I just by saying on the back it doesn't have the MLB Players Association label.
And unfortunately they could have created some type of rule that says it's got to be the player's first full season,
right?
But the problem is that they don't really communicate. The PA doesn't really communicate changes to us at all.
Well,
and that's the problem.
They're supposed to sit down and give a list to Topps and to Panini about these are the guys that are on the list of prospects for each team.
In the beginning of the year, right? That's when that happens, right?
So, but they can sit there and choose. To me, it's really this year was really, really bad. They held back.
It was really bad
because they knew they had 5 guys, and then they waited to put. They won't in the regular set till the traded set or update set. So they made chase cards and everything. They're just doing chase cards. So people buy the product. We're gonna make 1 billion of these, but we're gonna make these super, super short prints as chase cards.
Yeah.
So you'll just keep buying the product. And I mean, it's a smart business move, but that don't mean I gotta like it.
Right. But let's go back to let's go back because we were speculating, right? That's all we can really do. So we know that Topps has this meeting with the PA at the beginning of the season, before the season starts, and they have to give up the list of the rookie players for that year. Okay.
Right.
Let's just say Adley Rutschman is not on that list in the beginning of the year. Okay. And he gets called up end of May.
Right.
Now, technically, they have a right to go back to the PA and say, hey, we want to include this guy in, and they can get permission to put him in the sets. But
right.
I think Topps sat on their hands and they said, no, wait a minute. Let's not ask permission. Let's just wait till next year, and then we can put him in everything.
Right.
But we don't know. We're speculating because nobody communicates to us at that level, you know? Right. So.
And you know why, Victor? Because we have no representation.
Come on now. Don't get me started.
We're not going down that road. My next is me and Mike O talked about this. So Topps update comes out. They got players and all kinds of, back in the day, the update or traded set used to have the players that changed teams in their new uniforms. That was the cool thing about that set. And now they don't do that. I mean, like Mike said, McCutchen didn't play a day with the Phillies this year, but his card in the Topps flagship was with the Phillies, but he was with the Brewers. But in Topps high number, they have them all with the right uniforms. So I'm sitting here going, how do you justify that, Topps? Like, did you notice that at all?
I didn't notice that. That's interesting. But it's,
yes.
Scott, the more and more I dig into this and the more and more I look into it, the system is corrupt. There's just a high level of corruption with attorneys, and it's all a money game. And it's disheartening a lot of times when I sit down and think about it, because the shenanigans and the games and the gray area and the inconsistencies of distribution and rookies and it's all for money, man. It's corrupt. The system is corrupt.
When they tell you, oh, we didn't have enough time to print somebody and get them in the set, and we know now it's BS because they had Noah Syndergaard and Brandon Marsh, who were both playing for the Angels almost up to the trade deadline in Phillies uniforms and Heritage high number. So, yeah, Three Rivers, you're exactly right. They should call it Series 3, whatever.
Yeah.
That to me was, I saw that and I'm like, come on, Topps. This is, you got people that collect how we collect. I know you're trying to make money and that's your number one, but you need to think about the collector. People are trying to get team sets together. You make chases and all this, but gosh, if you could do it in a high number Heritage, why could it? And it was also, they were also, not only that was not the only thing, but in Topps Holiday, they were both in Topps Holiday in Phillies uniforms.
Yeah.
It was like, how? I just thought I'd bring that up. You just happen to be on here when I'm talking about it. Because it's just, to me, as a player collector and a team collector of the Mets, that's just kind of, they had some Mets guys that didn't play with the Mets this year. But that's going to happen a lot in the Series 1. I've been used to that my whole life. When I was growing up, the cards you got in 2023 reflected year 2022 a lot of times. So that's why the rookie card was usually made the year after the first year that the guy played. So it wasn't necessarily – that's why the traded set was fun, because you got that and you would see some of the guys on the new with their uniforms.
Right.
So that to me is where we're kind of missing the boat a little. I wish it was like hockey for rookie cards, where hockey NHL does not allow Upper Deck to make a card of a hockey player until they skated their first game. So the only year they lifted that was during the COVID season, just so they can get stuff out.
As it should be. You know, I've had discussions with Bobbles on this here recently. You know, he feels that the rookie card in the NHL is a lot more structured, a lot more simple to understand. And it's this, you know, because it's by design, I feel. And even with the interview I had with Jim last week, he even mentioned where he seems to think, and he didn't speak on this as a matter of factly, right? He had a perception. He believes that perhaps the PA wanted to control because they wanted to create uncertainty. They wanted to create this liberalization of the RC, and they wanted to plaster that RC logo on everything because the RC brings in the dollars. You know, so it's all part of the matrix, man. It's all part of the
wait a minute, you're not going to Romania, are you? Yeah, Three Rivers says the problem with hockey is they're still 2 years behind on product. Yeah, I can tell you that. The reason why I was going to bring that up is
are they really that far behind 2 years?
Well, I have Metal Universe just came out this past week. I saw Bobbles open the box. I went to my card shop, and you'll notice it says 21-22. And they made a note. I've never seen this before on a box, but it says 21-22 rookies on the side.
Interesting.
Now, you know there's an issue when you have to print that on the box so people understand.
I respect it, though, man.
What's that?
I respect it.
Yeah.
Tell me what I'm getting into, you know?
Yeah. Three Rivers brought this late. I'll see you later, Gary. This is what I wanted to get into. I was waiting. I'm glad somebody brought it up. So we got that with hockey. I looked at the baseball releases, something else that me and Mike were talking about. They're going to have, well, right now, Flagship Series 1 is to be determined. But it looks like you might have overlapping last year with this year's product. So I'm wondering if Topps is going to be gracious enough to tell us what's going on. Because football has been very confusing. I don't know how they can do it. I was really confused on their product. Basketball the same, because I think Panini just puts out the stuff, and their stuff looks so much alike. It's hard for me to figure out. I'm glad I don't collect that stuff.
Right. The Panini or Prism looks very identical year to year.
Right. Mosaic to me is the same way. I like it for baseball. I always buy a little bit of it. But it's because it's baseball. I'm a player collector, so I'm gonna get some of the guys.
Sure.
And but you know, that's just, you know, I'm wondering, I'm hoping baseball does something where the new flagship comes out. Flagship, I didn't mean flagship. Flagship comes out, and because I love it. That was just a slip. Comes out. I'm looking forward to it.
Right,
There might be a possibility where we have overlap. It's going to be because it's only a month and 3 days till pitchers and catchers.
Oh, come on. No, man, we're going to have the World, what is that, World Classic?
The World Baseball Classic.
The World Baseball Classic starts in right around the corner.
Weeks. Huh? What's that? What down? February, right?
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting because they're playing in like 3 different like places in the world instead of all in one. So
I don't know. Did you see the last one? The last one was so exciting.
Yeah,
it was really good, man.
And I just want to see, you know, U.S. is going to have a very good team, but the U.S. is not going to put their best pitchers out there.
Yeah.
But man, the lineup I think is Dominican and the Puerto Rican team is going to have. The one team that's got J-Rod leading off, and their 9th place batter is Jeremy Pena. Holy cow, what are you going to have in between?
Right.
I mean, they're lucky enough they're going to have Gary Sanchez as a DH. He don't even have to catch.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm like, holy cow. The best thing they're going to have for U.S. team is the coaches. What's his face off of MLB is going to be the coach. He's a riot. I hope they just mic him up the whole game. And then you got Ken Griffey as the hitting coach. So, he's going to probably be, just do it like this. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm wondering if
anybody the Asian teams are going to be really good.
And,
it's going to be. I like watching it. It's a great concept. The bad problem is if people get hurt, that's all you hear about. And that was the end of David Wright was playing in that, and everybody blamed that, but it ended up being just a medical issue and not have nothing to do with the baseball classic. It was either going to happen in or in preseason. So it's just that's the way it goes. And I think it's smart by not using I think using minor league pitching is just fine because us understands we're not going out there to necessarily win. We want to be ambassadors of the game across the world and put on a good show. But their lineup is, Harper can't play, but man, that lineup is going to be out of sight. It's going to be fun to watch.
It's not going to be filled full of like minor leaguers, is it?
No, it's all. I think the roster is full of major leaguers. I think even the pitching is major leaguers.
I haven't.
But they're not going to be
U.S. I don't know.
It's not going to be. You're not going to see Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer out there. You're going to see bottom rotation, and that's even if the major league team's going to have to let them. And they pitch them like it's a preseason game. They're only going to pitch 1, 2, maybe 3 innings, depends on the pitch, how many pitches they throw. I noticed that in the past, they just don't pitch a lot.
Yeah.
Where some of the other countries like Japan and them, they'll pitch just like a regular game. So, usually, Japan won the last one, right? Or Korea? Which one won the last one?
No, that was Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico got defeated by the Dominican, I believe.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So, and those guys, those Latin players have so much fun playing. It's fun to watch them play.
Yeah. A lot of passion. A lot of passion. But they know, like now, even in the major leagues now, I don't know. Jesus Aguilera, that dude doesn't have a bad time on the field. He's always smiling, slapping people on the rear end, laughing, joking. Yeah. He hits a fly ball, laughs. I'm sure he's upset he got out, but I mean, he understands that he's playing a child's game for a lot of money. Overly happy young fella.
Yeah, and he's a big man, and I'm not going to tell him he can't act that way.
Right.
But I talked to Lou Rock about this a little bit, and then we got sidetracked on playing, I think, trombone or trumpet or something. I just love watching those games. That some purists don't like it. They it's the gentleman's game. The collar's up, pinned up, wearing a derby hat and shirt and tie to the field and all that stuff.
Yeah. Purists are getting pretty beat up here lately, man. I've been really struggling. I like listening to a lot of different voices out there in the hobby world, and there's just been some, man, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to expound on it a little bit more in my next video, but
okay.
I understand, as a purist, but where I struggle is not all purist collectors are like that.
Right.
There's some out there that get flat out confrontational, man. And it's kind of ugly, reading the comments or listening to some of the people's feedback, but some of the purists, they need to chill out really. And it's hard because I get it. We're passionate. We've been doing it for so long, and we start listening and to all these things going on, and it's very discouraging, and it's like nobody listens to the old guy. Well, and you don't listen to the wisdom and the experience of the old guys. That's a foolish thing to do, in my opinion. Right. I'm very in tune, and I can tell who's wise and who's not. And when I listen to a guy like Rob Veras or Dr. James Beckett, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to really consider what they're saying. Not that everything they say is gospel, right? but I'm going to really seriously consider what they're saying because, they have a heart for teaching. And I think that's what us old guys need to be. We need to be a little bit more taking on that role of teacher than follow the rules,
Right. And I have found out too on that subject. I had Dom on here a few weeks ago with Staven Sports Cards.
Okay.
23, 24 years old, young man. My gosh, he has a wealth of knowledge of that guy. I just hope we don't shut people down. JT, Triple Crown, these guys, they've been hobbying a long time too. And they just soak things up like a sponge. I am glad I found this for that reason, because I was in a bubble where I was doing it. I was in the same way of you have to collect everything, not just your player or team or whatever. And then when I found YouTube, which I didn't even know this group existed till probably 10 years ago, 8 years ago, man, it really changed how I hobby and for the better. I still do stuff like dumb things like buying boxes and breaking them. I would never tell anybody, if you're watching your dollars, to do that. Buying singles is the smart way, but I just have so much fun doing it. And I don't know. I do 4 packs a day, and it just keeps me. It keeps that part of the hobby. But I am mainly a singles buyer now. I'll pick up, a box or blaster just to have one sitting around to open up a couple of packs a day. But I've gone months without opening them, and I think I brought it up Saturday. I think missing it for those 2 years, not being able to open things, just made me want. I don't want to miss that again. It's been so much a big part of my hobby experience growing up that I just don't want. Because I thought 3 years ago I wasn't going to buy another box or blaster again. I thought it was done. I just thought I was throwing money out the window.
Yeah.
And but I enjoy buying boxes because sometimes I get cards that wouldn't necessarily be in my PC, but I keep them because I think they're really cool. I just opened up Stadium Club last week, and I just don't understand why Stadium Club isn't the card that everybody wants.
Yeah.
It's the pictures, how they do the veteran players in that set. I think it's just beautiful. And they don't do a lot of color images and all this other stuff.
Right.
It's very, I just love that set.
I think it's appreciated though in the hobby.
It's 100% appreciated.
Yeah. A lot of people like it.
It's when you ask somebody, hey, what's your favorite, like low end kind of, regular set? And I think most people, if they don't say flagship, they're going to say Stadium Club.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't get the knowledge in the singles and all that. The higher end singles, or you get a good auto. But
maybe that's why. Maybe if they had more, color, more low serial numbered. I don't know their breakdown, but
yeah. They have red. They have all they do is they put it in the Stadium Club and the player's name, and they had different colors. But I don't think they're necessarily serial numbered until the blue and the gold. They'll still do super refractors and stuff in there. See, James Gilliam, Stadium Club is my fave. Yeah. And it's an awesome set to build a set and put it in a binder because the pictures in it are just beautiful. Right. So buying one box at a time isn't buying singles. No battery. It's not. I came close to start buying in my while back boxes, and I'm glad, or cases, and I'm glad I didn't. But you have anything else for us tonight, Victor? What you got coming up on your channel?
I've got I just started doing collaborations, and I think I'm gonna do those once a month. I'm gonna start slow, and I'm looking at every 4 to 6 weeks doing one. And I got some guys that lined up that it's going to be really specifically dealing with rookie cards, of course.
Yep.
But I got a good friend of mine, Bobby Burrell. He's a hobby historian, and he's gonna. I'll bring him on. He's gonna be my next guy. But I'm also going to be starting this year. I did a survey. I started a survey a couple of years ago, and it's a 10-question survey on specific questions about the rookie card. But the problem with that survey was I started it when I was very young on YouTube, and I had maybe only like 100 subscribers, and so my push for the survey really fizzled out because, I didn't have the audience that I have now. So I think this year I want to do the survey. I want to invite people on, and like I'll invite you on, and you'll do the survey live, not live, but you'll do the survey in a video collaboration. And then you can not only give us your answer, but expound on why you believe that. And hopefully that'll generate more talk, and I think if I focus on bringing in the influencers like yourself, right, then we can get a broader reach on. I just want to discuss it. I want to talk about, and I want to get the feedback from the guys on the ground, the collectors, and so I'm going to be really making a push towards that survey here in this year.
Well, I think right now is the collector's time. We watched our time go by last few years, and it feels good. Some things are still high price. You still got to know your P's and Q's out there.
Yeah.
I got one other question for you. I see that the Football Hall of Fame is coming up for cards.
Yes.
Football Card Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's done with Bart and
Scotty Tradition.
Scotty, yeah.
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up, because I got a Post-it note right here and I didn't even bring it up. But
okay. Well, hey, that's what I'm here for, man.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
Really excited. I don't know if the video has been released already in our Sports Card Hall of Fame Network channel. But Bart and Scotty Tradition, they did a video with a ballot. They released the ballot for this year's vote, and really excited. Wait until you see the video these guys made on their ballot. It's just an amazing piece of content. There you go.
Thanks, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. But they did a great job with this ballot, and we're excited about it. We're going to make a big push on it for the next month or so. The ballot will expire the day before the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And then we'll tally up the votes and release it on that following Monday. So the link for that is out. You can go to the YouTube channel and get it. It's going to be plastered everywhere. We're going to be making a big push on this thing on multiple channels, and kind of the same concept that we do with the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. We're just doing it with football, and Bart and Scott did a tremendous job.
So is there a thought process of doing that with other cards? Because you got Bobby coming on. If you did it with hockey, that'd be the guy to do it with.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm sure basketball, you got plenty of guys out there for that. So is there a thought process with other?
Yeah, definitely. We'd like to do it for all four. Haven't really determined a lineup yet for the other sports, but we got time. I know we want to do it close to the induction, the real induction.
Right.
So basketball, I believe they announce it in June. Mm-hmm. So we might be releasing something for basketball and hockey this year. I'm not 100% sure though, but that's the plan.
And here's my wish for this, because I love it. I think this is an ingenious thing. Right, Ray and Mike came up with the baseball one, right? And you helping, you're coming in.
Ray started it like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah,
right. This is my wish for y'all, is to get in touch with the National and then let y'all display this at the National. What a great concept to have at the greatest card show in the world, right?
Yeah.
It would be such so great for the hobby, I think, just to show, even if you don't have the real cards, which I'm sure it's very easy to get. But
right, that's the hard part.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't want to put their card on display.
Those are some big baller cards, man.
Yeah. But hey, I stood right beside the 52 mantle last year and took a picture. It was there the whole time.
Yeah.
That would be nice for the National or another big show if they did that. Man, that would be just tremendous.
Yeah.
And I love the concept, Victor. So everybody be looking for that.
It's fun.
For the football. I'll be first to admit, I collect football, but it's just baseball. So when I go to look at this list, it's going to be fun for me because I really don't know past the 70s too much.
Well, you watch this video that Bart and Scotty did.
Right.
And they dropped so much knowledge and so much, key cards, and they gave you the backstory of the card and the player. Man, by the end of that video, you're like Jones to go buy some football cards. So that's the kind of job these guys did.
Well, I don't need that. I got enough hobbying going on over here. I can't go in my Star Wars money and get football.
I'm supposed to encourage you to go watch it, not discourage you.
No, the thing with YouTube for me is, and I'll touch on this real quick because you said that, is I like to look at stuff I don't collect. It's weird. So I don't do a lot of vintage, but I gravitate to watch it because I'll never have that stuff in my collection. If I want to see the cards that I have in my collection, I can look at my cards in my collection. So I like to look at that. So when Bart's showing, heaven forbid, 49ers cards, me being a Cowboys fan, I'll still watch it because it's not so much for the card at that moment, but it's for educational purposes. Because down the road, I might want to get a vintage card or a football card or something like that, and it just helps me point me in the right direction on how to learn. Or I've had Bart on the channel, and I've said it before. This community is just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, man.
And we're all more than not welcome to give it to you, and we don't have join buttons. So
nope. And no Patreons here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't have, I do this for pure fun.
Come on, you're influencer Scott, man.
Well, I have influenced some people in buying comic baseball cards.
There you go.
That's about it. $5. So let's end on that tonight, Carlos. It's on a happy note and uplifting. That's the way I like to keep it on here on Sunday night.
That's good. Yeah.
It's been fun. Carlos is, I keep saying Carlos, is Victor.
Yeah. Same thing. Carlos.
No, it isn't. No. I love both of you, but nobody gives man hugs like Victor.
I'm gonna give Carlos a big man hug at the National.
Carlos better be at the. I'm planning on going to the expo in the winter, just to go up there just to see it. Because they're telling me I can get a Gretzky card just from falling out of somebody's pocket. Just walk behind them and pick one up. So I'm waiting to see if that's true or not. Because I'm Victor. Because I'm Victor.
That's good. You got to put that on the screen, man.
There it is. I don't know if you're familiar with Carlisle, but he's a funny dude. He cracks me up on everybody's channel.
That's good.
He watches Carlos. Anyway, Victor has a great YouTube channel, a great web place for you to go and learn about rookie cards. Hopefully gets that questionnaire out. I answered it before. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to listening to you and Bobby. That'll be very educational.
Yeah.
And go out and vote for the football cards, because I really do enjoy it. I think it's a great idea for the community on the whole. Everybody from a flipper to a seller to a collector, this is definitely for everybody. So until next time, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and we'll see you.